Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Khmer Times Cross Talk. This is episode, if I'm not wrong, 262. And with us today, we have the Indonesian Ambassador to Cambodia, Santo de Masumato. Thank you, Ambassador, for coming here.
Nice to see you again.
This is the second time.
Second time lucky.
So the last time we talked to the ambassador is like over a years ago.
Yes, about a year and 8 months ago.
Yeah. When you just arrived in Cambodia, briefly after that, after you present your credential to the king. And now, it has been quite a while as you are here. And this episode coincide with the fact that our Senate President and former Prime Minister Hun Sen had just made a visit to Indonesia, to Jakarta, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, and he gave a lecture. You two lectures, one at ASEAN, another one at area.
School of Government.
School of Government. So, okay, but before we get to that, I want to ask you to give us an update on your work. I mean, you have been very active. If I follow your Instagram, social media.
With support of Khmer Times, of course.
I think, first and foremost, I'm very happy that I've been in Cambodia for a year and 8 months, and that things have gone well, and I've managed to have more friends here in Cambodia. I have good friends here in Khmer Times as well.
Thank you.
And of course, I would like to once again, thank Khmer Times for supporting the efforts of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Phnom Penh in trying to strengthen diplomacy and strengthen the bilateral relations between our two countries. And I think media plays a very important role in bridging the peoples of the two countries. So I thank Khmer Times very much on this.
Thank you.
And look forward for further cooperation with Khmer Times in the future.
So in the past months, I have noticed that you have been around so many places, to provinces, meeting with so many people. So can you give us an update on these talks?
Sure. Remember during my first interview, I promised you that I would visit every single province here in Cambodia. I haven't achieved that yet, but slowly I'm trying to get myself to all the provinces here in Cambodia, and not only visiting the provinces, but also trying to get to know the strength of the provinces, particularly the economic strength of their provinces, as well as to know the officials, the people. Many times I've gone to provinces and gone to schools, to universities there. So not only meeting the officials, but also meeting with the local people in those particular provinces. The last few provinces I visited, of course, was Kampung Chenang recently to participate in the royal plowing ceremony.
That my mother hometowns.
And of course, before that, during Ramadan, I went to Tabung Kumum and Kampung Cham, which is interesting because it has both provinces have very large Muslim populations there, and I went there during Ramadan. So it was very interesting to get to know the province and get to know the economy of the province as well. And I'm looking forward to visiting other provinces which I have not visited, like Stung Treng, Krache, Mundul Kiri, Ratnakiri. Those places I have not visited yet. So looking forward to, hopefully before the end of the year, I would be able to visit those places.
Yes. In terms of diplomacy between the two countries, are you satisfied? Have you been satisfied with what's going on so far since you arrived in Cambodia?
I think I will never be satisfied. If the moment we're satisfied, then we stop doing the things that we want to do. I think we always have to have that notion that there's still more that we can do, there's still more that we could achieve. So even though last year, particularly because last year we were celebrating the 65th anniversary of Indonesia-Cambodia diplomatic relations, we did a lot of events, we achieved a lot of things, but I still believe that there's so much more that we need to further develop in our cooperation, and this is why I am very happy to be here to share with you what are some of our plans for the rest of the year in 2025 here, and also hopefully in the next few years as well.
What's the plan for this year? I mean, we are almost half in, we almost reached the midpoint in 2025. Everyone getting old so fast. Okay, so what's the plan for this year?
A number of things that we are trying to do. I mean, of course, one of the highlights have already been carried out, which is the visit of Samdech Techo to Jakarta, not only to do the lectures and the ASEAN Secretariat as well as the Area School of Government, but of course Samdech Techo also met with Indonesia's top leaders, President Prabowo Subianto, the Speaker of the House, and also the Speaker of the Senate, the Indonesian Senate. And so that was already achievement this year. And towards the end of the year, we also have a couple of events that we are organizing. The next one is in next month in June, June 14 to 15, which is SUSDE Indonesia 2025. You know very well. It's a solo exhibition, not only exhibition for trade, but also exhibition for tourism and as well as education opportunities in Indonesia. And we look forward to making the event as big and as informative as possible to the Cambodian public. And the other one that we are trying to do, and this is something that we've never done before. We want to do an Indonesian Alumni Congress, which is trying to gather all those Cambodians who have studied in Indonesia before in one event, so that we could exchange ideas on how the Alumni Association could be beneficial. Of course, beneficial for the Cambodians who want to study in Indonesia, and also the ones who just recently came back from studying in Indonesia.
How big is the number?
We don't know yet, but my assumption it will be more than 200 people at least that have already carried out studies in Indonesia, maybe even more than that. This is why it's very important for us to try to make sure that we have a list of people. And some of them right now, there are Secretary of States, Under Secretary of States, Director Generals in official positions, business people. So we're looking forward to seeing who shows up at this particular event and who among the leaders in Cambodia.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's good you mentioned the visit of our Senate President to Jakarta. Before I forgot it. Before I forget it. So, how do you describe this visit? In terms of diplomacy and political relation.
I think the visit definitely demonstrates the continued upward trajectory of the bilateral relationship between Indonesia and Cambodia. I'd like to use the word change and continuity. Change because there have been changes in the governments both in Cambodia as well as in Indonesia. We have a new president. Cambodia has a new prime minister in the last year and a half or so. But at the same time, there's a continuity with regards to the relationship between our two countries, and that the ties are based on strong historical ties. President Prabowo has visited Cambodia since the 1990s. And of course, Samdech Techo is somebody who feels very close to Indonesia as well. So that's the basis of a relationship. But now we're trying to see how we could implement this into more concrete programs that impact the people directly as well. So change and continuity is the highlight of what the visit of Samdech Techo was to Jakarta, from my perspective.
Yes, I have covered this before for the newspaper, but I want you to tell me in person, how, when you listen to the lectures of Mr. Hun Sen, so what is your idea about that? What's your opinion on his experience, his, the journey from Khmer Rouge to the modern Cambodia?
Did you get a chance to see the lecture?
It was recorded. I saw it online.
Yeah, it was recorded online, and I thought it was a very, very good lecture. It was long, but it was very good. I didn't feel that it was more than 2 hours, but it was also very emotional. And Samdech Techo talked about the hardships and the difficulties it was during that time to strive for peace in the country. At the same time, he also highlighted the role of Indonesia, but more so than the role of Indonesia, he highlighted how is it possible for Cambodia to achieve peace here. And basically what he said is because the Cambodian people, after so much conflict, resorted or agreed that it was time for them to get together as a community and move forward towards creating peace in this country. Another thing is that he wanted to indicate to us that in the region there is enough wisdom to overcome the challenges that are being faced here in Southeast Asia. He said that if in the past countries in the region like Indonesia, Singapore could assist Cambodia in striving for peace to overcome the Cambodian conflict, we should be able to do so as well now and overcome some of the challenges that are affecting the region, not only challenges related to security, but also challenges related to economy, related to the environment. How we together have enough wisdom in us to to actually overcome these challenges and work together within the framework of ASEAN or within the framework of ASEAN plus our partners in the region.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What do you think is the most, in your own opinion, which part of the lecture that you are interested in the most?
Of course, for me, it's the ones where he actually revealed he told us some of the secrets of the behind the scenes of the process that led towards the peace talks. The ones that led towards the peace talks in Bogor, the Jakarta informal meetings, and later on in the Paris Peace Conference. And these are some of the things that he talked about. And also at the same time, how that particular lesson for him can be used to overcome some of the challenges that is happening here in the region right now, be it with regards to economic cooperation, maybe how to overcome the challenges vis-a-vis the proposed tariffs from certain countries, the continued conflict in some of the countries in Southeast Asia as well. How can those lessons be used to overcome these challenges now?
Okay, and let's say we are in a very, very ambiguous setting, contemporary global setting. Yes. We don't know what's happening next. Yeah. It's just like everything is so unpredictable in this era. Yeah. So in this context, what do you think, Cambodia and Indonesia, could do with their bilateral relation to deal in this setting? Mm-hmm.
I think first and foremost, the world is always very uncertain. We'd like to think that now is more uncertain than before, but I would rather assume or would rather think that it was also uncertain in the past, it's uncertain now as well. But of course the challenges are different. Mm-hmm. The challenges are different, and also the current status and current conditions of both countries are different. At least we can be assured that both Indonesia and Cambodia are in a state of peace. We are a state of stable governments, both of us, and both our economies are positively growing. So at least we have those commonalities and how to overcome some of the challenges. Now, one of the things that probably, for example, Samdech Techo mentioned was how to avoid being caught up in the rivalries among the bigger powers in the world. Because I think we recognize very much some of the conflicts that happened during the Cold War that caused suffering in this region, suffering in Vietnam, suffering in Laos, suffering of course in Cambodia as well. That was caused very much by the rivalries that occurred among the big powers at that time. So how does Indonesia and Cambodia work together to avoid our two countries from being caught in the middle of the rivalries among the other big powers in the region as well as in the world? So I think this is where I think Samdech Tipade Hun Manet as well also highlighted the fact that ASEAN need to work with each other. We need to increase our intra-ASEAN trade. We need to increase our intra-ASEAN investment cooperation. And these are some of the things. How do we rely more on each other instead of relying on countries outside of ASEAN?
Yeah. I agree that ASEAN member states working together is very crucial at this time in this contemporary setting. But there are a number of challenges. I mean, people still hate one another because of their historical past, and sometimes groups of people, they saw each other as competitors rather than partners. So what can ASEAN government do in this context?
I think at the end of the day, what is needed is of course time. Mm-hmm. Time heals certain feelings of injustice. Time heals certain feelings of animosity. Mm-hmm. And I think we are seeing more and more the relationship between peoples in ASEAN becoming closer together. I mean, a lot of times we forgot the fact that you can go to Indonesia without a visa easily, and any Indonesian can come to Cambodia without a visa easily to visit as tourists and what have you. And some of the animosities that we've had in the past slowly has becoming less and less and less as well. Mm-hmm. So that will require some time. But of course there will always be people using these animosities to stir up political, they're motivated by political reasonings. Yeah. So how to avoid these things and how to actually go back to the fact that as a community, as an ASEAN community, we are becoming more and more close together. Just before the interview, I talked to you about the fact that Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and if I'm not mistaken, Thailand, we actually submitted the kebaya, the peranakan kebaya as a common cultural heritage to UNESCO. I mean, you would never see something like this, 10 to 20 years ago, but in fact that we are doing this. So we're recognizing that there are actual commonness among us. And I think as we become more and more used together, more and more engagement among the people, more and more people-to-people context, I think we will see more and more that happening. But of course, like you said, there's always people trying to use these, these lines for their political purposes, and we have to be careful about that. Yeah.
By the way, I believe that there are still a few more years before you finish your mandate here in Cambodia. You give us the plan for this year. How about the rest of our your mandate? I mean, what do you plan to do?
If I tell you that, you will not be inviting me here again. But I think there are always new ideas and new initiatives for us to develop. Like I told you, the various type of cooperation that we are not doing is still immense. Like for example, on the field of tourism. I mean, we are happy the fact that Indonesian tourists, the numbers are growing coming to Cambodia, and also from Cambodians going to Indonesia. But it's still a lot of work that needs to be carried out. We're hoping that there will be a direct flight connecting Siem Reap and Bali, so that there is more movement of Indonesians and Cambodians go back.
Speaking of direct flight, it's kind of frustrating because last week I was in Indonesia, but for some reason I have to transit in Thailand. It took me like one whole day to get to Jakarta. I really hope we have like more direct flight.
Yeah, at the moment there is direct flight 4 times a week. It's not daily yet, but hopefully we will reach a point where we will have some direct flights happening every single day from Indonesia to somewhere in Cambodia, or the other way around as well. So tourism is an opportunity that we haven't fully explored yet. And now there is also an MOU for joint promotion of tourism sites in Borobudur and Angkor Wat. So we want that to be implemented as well. We're trying to push for more sister city cooperation, be it between Bali and any of the cities here, or the ones that have already been established between Siem Reap and Jakarta. So these are some of the things that we would like to develop. And also one of the things that I would like to do, which I haven't had the opportunity to do yet, is an Indonesian film festival.
Yeah.
You know that if you go to any movie theaters here in Cambodia, every single day there is always an Indonesian movie showing.
Horror films.
Well, yes, but I mean, it seems that the Indonesian movies do appeal to the Cambodian audiences. So I think it's about time that we start thinking about doing an Indonesian movie festival here at least in Phnom Penh.
Okay. Now I want you to tell our viewer, what is the most favorite Indonesian movie of all time?
Various Indonesian movies that I like.
Just pick one.
One of the movies that I like a lot is called What's with Love, or in Indonesian it's Ada Apa Dengan Cinta. So you should try to see that movie. I don't know if it's on online or not, but it's one of the top movies that came out in the early 2000. It's still one of the top movies that.
How about Cigarette Girl?
Pardon me?
The Cigarette Girl, right?
There's a Cigarette Girl as well. Yes, the Cigarette. And the movie star who played in Ada Apa Dengan Cinta, or What's with Love, is the main character in A Cigarette Girl, which is available in. Yeah.
So, viewer, let me reveal you a secret. So the ambassador have told me that he would have been a drummer, a rock band drummer, if
If I wasn't a diplomat.
He was not in the if this guy was not in the diplomacy, he would be playing drums.
Yes, of course. Everybody wants to be a rock star.
Yeah. You never too old to rock and roll.
Yeah, I know. and I am trying to learn more, study more about the golden era of Khmer music, in the 1950s and the 1960s. So I'm trying to listen to some of these old albums and reading the books about the Cambodian music scene at that time, which now is becoming more popular among the younger crowd, you know, which is kind of cool, I think. Yeah,
for me, I'm quite surprised when I learned that there is the song Bengawan Solo.
Bengawan Solo, yeah.
It was available in Khmer language as well.
Yes.
So many
a number
languages.
of Indonesian songs have been available in Khmer language at that time in the 1950s, 60s, and Bengawan Solo is one of them. And yeah, you know, it's very good to know that there was connection then. And of course, the conflict in Cambodia sort of disrupted a lot of these things. But we're trying to remember these things and see whether or not we could connect through music, we could connect through movies, we could connect more through culture between our two countries. Yeah. Okay. Because as you know, a lot of our young people, they prefer to listen to music and culture from other countries. I think it's about time that we try to get to know each other more through culture.
You know, what it or not, this is a Gen Z word. Okay, this is a Gen Z word.
So we're too old for this.
But you know, Cambodia is a young population. Have a young population. Indonesia has a quite young population. So how do you think this young generation can begin seeing each other more, understanding each other more? What can stakeholder do in order to push for young generation to interact between the two countries?
For my part, I think, and at least with the Indonesian side, we are trying to promote more knowledge and understanding of the availability of scholarships for Cambodian students to maximize in Indonesia. Scholarships not only for bachelor degrees, but of course for master's degrees and also for PhD degrees. So the more Cambodians actually study in Indonesia and learn Bahasa Indonesia, my hope that there will be more connection. Now, at the same time, I'm also trying to encourage Indonesians to come and visit Cambodia. This is why if you look at my Instagram, look at my social media, I have contents that show, this is Central Market, this is the Royal Plowing Ceremony, this is Angkor Wat, this is a very popular hotel in Siem Reap. I mean, try to indicate to them that there are so many things to see and so many things to look at when they visit here in Cambodia.
Nice. Again, I think I'm out of questions. You already give me all the details that I want. Last but not least, can you look at our audience and say what you want to say?
I first and foremost, of course, thank you very much, and I would like to thank all the Cambodians that have befriended me, and I look forward to making more friends here in Cambodia, not only among officials, but of course among students, among business people, among those who are working in various fields, among sports people. Just the other day I watched a soccer game. I love the soccer league here in Cambodia.
Yeah, for your information, Khmer Times has a friendly match with the Indonesian Ambassador.
And we look forward to the next friendly match between our embassy and Khmer Times.
We're going to live stream that.
And so, yes, in the future, please look forward to more activities carried out by the Indonesian Embassy here in Phnom Penh. And thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon in Khmer Times publications.
Okay, thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for spending time with us. And this is our first celebrity ambassador here. Thank
you very much.
Yes, and thank you, folks. I think you enjoyed the interview, just like I did. So we're going to see you next week. For now, goodbye.